Good morning. This morning, I know that I don't look like Chuck. I probably have more hair, but the fact remains that he's got a situation. It's, the old doctor's appointment. We've all been there, right? Anybody here not have a doctor's appointment within the last year? Please raise your hand. Okay, so our speakers today are going to be talking about healthcare. And so Nina Lewis will head it off for Comfort Matters from Tina Alonso. As usual, please either hit this with a hammer or turn it to silent. It's your choice. Other than that, we're good to go. And Nia, you got the floor.
The mics are all on. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. So, resident support team. As Phil has already stated, my name is Nina Lewis. I am the Vice President of Health Services here at Beatitudes Campus. I will be speaking with you today regarding my role and a few other things in the healthcare environment. So my role as a VP in Health Services is to maintain compliance with healthcare regulations and standards across all healthcare entities on campus, implement strategies to enhance compliance and quality assurance processes, support Health Services team with resources and guidance to enable the team to meet evolving care needs effectively and efficiently, and to represent Beatitudes in health-related matters with external stakeholders and regulatory bodies. So how does the Health Services team support our residents? Well, we have 4 different areas that we provide support to our residents. First, the Beatitudes at Home, which is a non-clinical care support service. We have assisted living, which is licensed for personal and directed level of care. We have the healthcare center, which I like to divide in 2 parts. One is skilled nursing, which is our short-term rehab stays, and our long-term, okay? And both entities provides round-the-clock medical care, rehab services, and support for acute or chronic illnesses, complex medical needs, while ensuring the safety and comfort of all. And last but not least, we have our outpatient therapy service that provides rehab care and support for residents recovering from injuries, surgeries, helping them regain strength, mobility, and their independence. So I want to do a dive on the differences of the healthcare center and assisted living. The healthcare center is federally and state regulated. We require a resident to have a physician's order to admit and receive care in that environment. The admission determination process looks towards you having, if you are, or a patient coming into our environment, a skilled need, an insurance verification, which is not noted here, TB, and that you're clinically appropriate for the services that we provide on our campus. Tuberculosis, TB test. I don't want you to have it. Just want you to be protected from it. Okay. Assisted living, state regulated only. We are licensed in 3 different areas: supervisory, personal, and directed. You also need a physician's determination order to enter into assisted living environment. And that mainly means that the physician has to understand the type of environment, the licensure of the environment, and the services provided. And based off of your needs, they will then write the order. The move-in process includes an assessment, the TB vaccine, and a service plan is developed at that time as well. A little bit about the staffing differences in both areas. In the healthcare center and assisted living, they both carry key individuals The leadership in the healthcare center starts with the administrator. Every skilled nursing or healthcare environment has to have a licensed administrator. A director of nursing, which is the clinical leader in the environment. Social worker, dietitian, and the admissions person. On the third and fourth floor, just so you are aware of the type of staffing we have, we are required to have an RN round the clock. And we do, which is great. So typically, any day you walk in, you may have an RN on one of the floors, and the rest are LPNs. We staff 2 nurses on the 4th floor, 2 nurses on the 3rd floor. Roughly 33 residents on the 3rd floor and 37 residents on the 4th floor. We have certified nursing aides, CNAs, or restorative nursing aides, RNAs, also that operate on the floor. We have therapy team, which you know, PT, OT, and speech, that we work very closely with through a company called Functional Pathways. In assisted living, our key personnel starts with the assisted living manager. Every assisted living has to have a certified manager to run the operations. You have a nurse manager, and we also have a wellness nurse. Now, Plaza View and EMS, early memory support, are licensed differently. So in the previous slide, I talked about the 3 different licensures that can fall under assisted living: supervisory, personal, and directed. Plaza View is actually licensed up to personal. Just a quick, what is the difference between supervisory and personal versus directed? So in Plaza View, supervisory, personal. Supervisory, I'm providing you supervision, right? It's in the name. Personal, I'm providing you with some support with activities of daily living. But for the most part, every single resident must be able to summon assistance at will, recognize danger, and exit the building in the need, right? In directed level of care, because that population, we are dealing with residents that may have cognitive impairment, we anticipate their needs because they can no longer anticipate their needs or summon assistance at will for their needs. Okay? In assisted living, you have to think about it as it's non-clinical. So I was intentional putting care team under the Plaza View and early memory support because they do not provide clinical support to residents in that environment. That's where the healthcare team with the clinical team, the nurses, and there's rounding providers, doctors, nurse practitioners in the healthcare environment. But one thing that Beatitudes recognized last year, the need of increased oversight for our residents because sometimes we have complex medical situations that are going on. And so we employ nurses in our assisted living. So we do have nurses, LPNs, that work in our assisted living, as well as certified caregivers and assistant caregivers. So what pays for what? So if you are interested in the Beatitudes at Home, there are 2 different types of payers that you can use. You can pay for the services privately out of your own pocket, or you can use a long-term care policy. Some of us have a lot of different types of policies out there, and what I tell anybody who is interested in knowing a little bit more about their policies and how they can use it to their benefit, you can always come and see me or the Beatitudes at Home team located in Plaza View by the rec center. In assisted living, you can pay for your room and board privately, out of pocket. We also accept Medicaid, state-funded program called Altex, Arizona Long-Term Care System. And then, of course, long-term care policy. Now remember, I separated two areas in the healthcare center, skilled nursing and long-term care. Skilled nursing, think more short stay, long-term care, we're living there, okay? So when you are in the skilled nursing part, it's typically because you have had a significant event, either at home or you're in the hospital. So when you come in, the different ways to pay for that environment, still private pay, because money goes everywhere, right? Insurance. Most of us have Medicare or a Medicare Advantage program. And then, of course, all-text, state-funded program. Long-term care, so those that are living in the environments on the third or fourth floor in our healthcare center, they are either paying and can pay privately, all-text, or the long-term care policy. Outpatient therapy, your insurance. So again, going back to most of us have Medicare or a Medicare Advantage plan, or you can pay privately as well. So the org chart, is right up there. I report directly to Donna Taylor, the Chief Operating Officer, who's sitting back there. And we have our team here, starting with the medical director that I just want to put in there. If you guys remember, Dr. Deborah Kopis will be starting March 5th with us next week, I believe. And she'll be the medical director of the campus. Currently, the current medical director that only sits in the healthcare center, her name is Dr. Sapienza. We have Kim L'Esperance, RN, Director of Nursing, Healthcare Center. Stephanie Allen, LPN, Assistant Director of Nursing, Healthcare Center. Kenya Hampton, LPN, Nurse Manager, AL. And Carissa Garciliano, Beatitudes at Home Coordinator. So challenges and opportunities for the campus. What makes this aspect of the organization challenging? Well, healthcare delivery is complex in nature. I think we can all agree to that, due to the diverse needs of our residents. But other areas that can impact for challenges fall under regulatory compliance. Somebody always likes to share a fun fact that a skilled nursing facility, in our case, the healthcare center, is the second highest regulatory RAN environment, right under NASA. We have a book probably this big of regulations that we have to abide by every day, every minute, all day long, all year long. It's great reading if you're ever interested. And it's no secret that we've had some staffing shortages or challenges. We had that prior to COVID. COVID definitely did not help the situation, and we are seeing a new type of workforce, and we're getting our footing in that. Financial pressures, reimbursement for services provided on the floors are not how it used to be. Operational changes that happen on the floor make it complex. To be innovative while making sure we can meet our financial goals. Complex patient needs. The evolving healthcare landscape is always a challenge. You always running to keep up. And then the public perception. That is not all the way on there. There wasn't an on there. I don't know what happened here. Yeah, it's the Latin. Yes, that's Latin. And if you're reading any news outlet, you would know that there is a spotlight in our industry as it relates to assisted living and skilled nursing environments or long-term care. And so we fight against that, right? Tina's gonna be up here soon. I don't see, oh, Tina's out there, yep. And she's gonna talk about some of the things that we do to provide a resident-led environment, directed environment, so we can do the best care we can for every individual here. And so it's really ensuring that what Beatitude stands for and what we do on our floors meets the expectation of everyone in here and in our community. So where do you see your greatest opportunities? Well, I will tell you, our greatest opportunities will always lie in education and training with our residents, with our staff, and our family members. Before, it used to be we just going to give that investment to our staff, but why not continue to educate and provide platforms where family members can learn and be supported, as well as residents can learn and be supported. And again, I think Tina's going to hopefully talk a little bit about Comfort Matters and what we're doing and what you will see happening over the next couple of months in our environments to ensure that we meet that need.
Yeah.
Thank you, Phil.
Good morning, everybody. It's really great to be with you. I want to just start this morning by talking about comfort. What makes you comfortable? Now, I know we won't all be able to hear, but I encourage somebody out there to say one thing that makes you comfortable. Pizza makes me comfortable too. What else? Is there something else out there that makes you comfortable? A recliner. And what was that? Birkenstocks. The campus itself. I am so glad. Feeling safe. The campus and feeling safe, and Birkenstocks and pizza. And what else? I forgot something. Security. Growing flowers on my balcony. Good book. What I love about all of your answers is the uniqueness that you bring to that discussion about comfort. Comfort is a very individualized thing, and something that we have spent our entire lives figuring out what really works for us. So Comfort Matters, the program, which will celebrate its 26th birthday on April 1st here at Beatitudes campus, grew out of this desire to ensure that people who are living with dementia could have peace, comfort, and contentment. Because if we are unable to do things for ourselves, like work this, we need help. So really what Comfort Matters does, thank you, Michelle, because I'm a mess, obviously. I need a Vanna White. That's what brings me comfort.
Which slide?
I just tried to touch the screen and yeah, thank you. Okay. So for folks who have trouble thinking, now notice I'm not saying people who are living with dementia, but that's who I am talking about. And you may say to yourself, well, Tina, why do you make that distinction? Well, because many of us have trouble thinking, right? I often forget things. And so here's an opportunity to kind of include all of us. All of us want to be comfortable. All of us have moments when we have trouble thinking. And Comfort Matters, the program, is dedicated to ensuring that people who have trouble thinking live well. It's been our only job for 26 years. So my job is to support people living on campus who have trouble thinking. My job is also to help other communities across the United States, I work in 11 states, to do the same kinds of things, uniquely for the people that they serve. So here on campus, this looks like helping staff understand what dementia is. By the way, there's 104 different kinds of dementia that have been identified, and they're all a little different. Some of them are very rare, some of them are very common. So it's to help staff understand the most up-to-date evidence-based knowledge about dementia, but it's also to help residents who live here know the same. It's to help develop strategies that support people, given what we know from the evidence. It's to help grow our programs, so Nina was talking about. We're really focusing on comfort in the healthcare center and also on Piper Residences, which is located on the second floor. So we're gonna really invigorate comfort again based on the needs of the people who live there and really support all of you in understanding what that is. So education is a big component of what we do, but also an opportunity to build skill. Now, I know many of you have had friends or family members, or maybe you yourself has been diagnosed with dementia. Here's what we know, is that any person who has been diagnosed, who is living with problems thinking, does not come with a manual. Everybody's different. And so we have to build strategies and skill based on each person that we know. So this is never a one-size-fits-all. So I spend some time helping staff and helping members of this audience, many of you I've seen in consultation, build skill and strategy that not only help the person who is living with dementia live well, but also helps you live well. Because when the people we love and care for are content and happy, it helps us be content and happy. And then I oversee some research, which is an exciting thing for me, because at the end of the day, many of you are very interested in the greater good and contributing to the greater good. So I spend some time helping with those kinds of endeavors. So what do I do? What do we do? Because I'm a team of one. And what I love about this conversation today is all of us are uniquely intertwined. I work with Nina. I work with Erin every day. I work with many of you. I work with folks in the healthcare center. So we're intertwined and we're constantly trying to help each other do the best jobs that we can. So one of the things that I do in particular is in partnership with your medical provider, I can help with some cognitive assessment and screening that helps you start that path of understanding if you do have trouble thinking, what does it mean and how can I address it? Again, help people, help folks out there in the audience, and I help staff and family members develop those skills that help the person live well, education that really supports that person in particular, and the family member, whether it's you or someone else, helps them and supports them in this journey. And at the end of the day, this is all about well-being. You know, when we think about comfort, many of us think about palliation, which is just a fancy word for end of life. But comfort is what we all choose, uniquely for who we are. And so for us, Comfort Matters is not about end of life, it's about living. So like Erin and Success, probably our biggest challenge is there are too many wonderful and amazing opportunities, and frankly, we want to do them all. So the challenge is to prioritize what is the most important things to do that create the greatest opportunity for people to live, learn, and grow here on the campus. And when I talk about opportunities or I talk about challenges, I'm often reminded of Dr. Reverend Nelson and his words. And when I first came to work here, that 26 years ago, what he said to me, he pointed to the Phoenix, which wasn't there at the time, it was on the side, and he pointed to the stained glass burning bush. And he said the following. He said, "Remember, Tina, that we are founded in faith." And he pointed to the stained glass. "But we are driven by innovation. And he pointed to the Phoenix. And he said, don't let today, what you're doing today, don't let that be good enough for tomorrow. And I believe here on the campus, and I'm so glad that so many of you feel safe and you feel like your connection to be here is so strong, because at the end of the day, all of us work together to create that sense of well-being for one another and what that should look like. So although the challenge is, what do we prioritize and what do we do first? The opportunity is looking at all of those things that we can do that ultimately serve the greater good. And at the end of the day, we all feel good about because we were able to participate in them. The sky's the limit. I'm with Erin, I'm with Nina. The sky's the limit. The opportunities for us that are before us, no measure. They're just so many. And so often we're going to come to you and say, what should we work on first? What is most important? Where is the greatest need? And we appreciate so many of you for coming forward and sharing with us what you believe is the greatest need. And so I would say that probably the greatest opportunities are yet to be realized. And I think about what Dr. Nelson said many times about don't let what we're doing today be good enough for tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity to talk to you.
Okay, stay up here. Hi there, Nina, Erin. We have individual questions. We've got a mic. She'll come to you next.
You to speak? Oh. Well, I have two comments and one question. First, I want to thank Erin for helping my friend when she fell today. Second, I recently had a resident here who is my friend move into the care center and on the second floor, and I want to say how wonderful that care center is. She was in the third floor before that. That also was a wonderful experience to be up there. So I'm very impressed. But my question is really for Nina. I've been trying for a while. I know there are 6 levels of care in assisted living. And I have discovered that there is a point system for determining what level of care you're going to be put at in Plaza View. But what I can't seem to find out from anyone or see on a piece of paper is, do you get different services at each level of care? I mean, am I getting like assistance in a shower at level 5 versus level 2 or anything like that? Is that the nature of the difference of the levels of care? And that's my question.
It's a good question. Thank you so much for asking it. So we do have on our assessment or our service plan, the assessment and service plan actually goes through all of the different needs that you may have or asking for support for in the assisted living environment. That could be in Plaza View or it can be in Piper EMS. So the more care needs that you have, the higher the pay or the cost is, okay? So let's say you come in and you just need medication administration support. But for the most part, you can do most of your stuff on your own. Then you're at level 1. But if you need your medication administration, you need support transferring to and from the bathroom, you need support in the shower, you need support getting dressed and going to and from the dining room. Well, now you're probably at level 5 because you're getting all that level of support. And then if your support continues to get greater, then we talk about, is assisted living the right place for you? Because then your needs could be better met maybe in the healthcare center on a 3rd or 4th floor. Did I answer your question?
But there's no piece of paper that says specifically what level of care provided.
It's a point system, and so each area has a point system. So, for example, the medication administration, it's a point system from 0 to 5. 0, if you have no need for support, and all the way up to 5 if we are doing all of your medication and that is ordering your medication to the pharmacy, talking and organizing with your provider. So, and then let's go to grooming. If you have no needs for support with grooming, then you're 0. But if you need cueing or reminding, you're probably at 2. If you need full-on support, that's 3. And so as the buckets kind of add up, then it's attached to a particular level of care and that associated cost. Thank you, sir.
Nina,
Yes.
you did not mention the second floor of the healthcare center. Could you explain the level of care there? And I have the impression that it's somewhat similar to assisted living, but I could be wrong.
Thank you so much for that question. So the second floor in the healthcare center, Piper, is early memory support. It is considered assisted living and it's licensed at directed level of care.
Okay.
Did I answer your question? Directed level of care, which part?
How does it differ from the earliest level of assisted living as far as the care levels?
Oh, very good. Okay. So in Plaza View, we talked about in the presentation that Plaza View holds supervisory and personal level of care. That's how that environment is licensed. So supervisory means I'm supervising you. I'm not putting any hands on you to support, but I'm making sure that you're okay, and if you need anything, I'm here for you. Personal level of care is I am providing some activities of living, daily living support. So if that means I am maybe passing some medication or I'm helping you get your clothes on, that's kind of what I'm doing for you. So in supervisory and personal level of care, or those that live in Plaza View, they can summon the assistance that they need, right? They can say, Nina, can I have my medications now? Nina, I'm gonna go out to the bistro for a nice meal. Nina, can you help me get undressed? I'm ready for bed. In early memory support, Piper, that is licensed at directed level of care, our residents typically have a cognitive impairment, and they are unable to anticipate their needs, to summon their needs, to recognize danger. And so the staff on that floor anticipates everything for them. They get them up, get them dressed, they ask them if they want to eat, then they encourage them to come on and eat, and they do that type of care support for the residents that live on that floor. Thank you.
This is for Erin.
Yes.
Can you tell us what the elements of wellness are?
Yes. Oh, you're going to put me on the spot. Okay. So there's 8 dimensions. I apologize if I need one, but they should be occupational, environmental, physical, financial, social, spiritual, intellectual. Which one am I missing, Michelle? Mental? Yes, that might be one. So each one of those dimensions has a whole specific of like what they mean and different ways to address it with people. So that's kind of why me and Alexa are the team that we are, because we both have the education and background to help people with each one of those different dimensions. So she has her master's in public health, and so she can fulfill certain dimensions I support different dimensions, and then we, of course, bring in all of the wonderful resources that are on campus. But that's kind of how the department grew and how it was decided that there needed to be an occupational therapist to oversee and then a resource navigator. But really good question. Thank you.
What are the criteria for and who evaluates people to go to Plaza View or the care center?
I will probably let Nina answer that one.
Can I have you repeat that for me, please?
The criteria for evaluating someone for either Plaza View or the care center, different levels, and who does that?
So currently we have our nurse manager or wellness nurse that participates in the assessment. But the assessment is a collaborative event. We actually also speak with the provider. Your own primary care physician is a part of that, because there is, on the slide that I showed, there is an admission determination. So it's important that we send information to your provider so they know exactly what we are licensed for and the type of services we provide on the floor. And then based off of your clinical needs, he will or she will determine if you are appropriate for the different environments. So a doctor can say upon assessment of you, and not you personally, that you may be appropriate for Plaza View, or maybe there's some cognitive impairment and they would say you're more appropriate for a directed level of care environment or the early memory support. During the process, we also go through what we were talking about, the 6 levels in the assessment piece. So the 6 levels is really going through everything that we need to do for you on the floor of either environment. So from getting dressed in the morning to coordinating services across town or with your provider, to getting you into bed that night, passing your medications or performing any treatments. All of that is kind of, it's like a questionnaire that we go through with you and or your family member to determine that level of care, and all of that is shared with your provider. So nurse, provider, your doctor, and actually there's 2 nurses that actually participate in that assessment. So that's what that looks like for assisted living.
This is for Nina. Nina, you were mentioning a staffing shortage in the past. Are we fully staffed in the healthcare center and in Plaza View? And you also mentioned a new type of healthcare employee. You're having to deal with a different type of employee, or perhaps the culture has changed a little bit. If you could expand on both.
Certainly, thank you. So today, no, we are not short-staffed. We, in the healthcare center, Beatitudes was very bold last year, or maybe the year prior. My days and years are now moving together, mushing into each other. But we decided to increase our pay rates and pay our nurses, our RNs, LPNs, and CNAs very competitively across the board. And that very much helped us recruit some really good team members. So we don't go without. We have people, regardless if we are actively posting for a position or not, inquiring about coming to work for Beatitudes. We have great nurse resident ratio, CNA resident ratio, so they love what we have done on our floors. And we all know when we have good people on the floors, our quality of care increases. And so right now we're okay. In assisted living, we tend to struggle still back and forth with caregivers. I would say that we still have registry trickling in, not as much, but we have a good core team that has been with us for some time now, so that's good. I did reference workforce it looks a little bit different. People are, not always inclined to work those hard hours with large patient loads, and they want the flexibility, they want to work at home. But because Arizona in particular has had a hardship with clinical staff, nurses, it's become extremely competitive across the board. I mean, I was just reading an ad back there that said, come work at Banner, we'll take care of you, we're the best place to work. I mean, it's constantly, our team members are constantly getting hit by companies, organizations across Arizona to come work for them and what they can do for them. So that makes it hard. It makes it hard because people are looking for a balance of some type. And I do believe the workforce will never go back to how we had prior to COVID. And I still think it's a good thing that we continue to change and evolve and find unique ways to meet resident staff needs, because there's that balance of life and work that we have to honor.
I have a question, and it's directed to the person in charge of the care center, and the memory care center in particular. And I understand that there's a lot for people to do who are in memory care Monday through Friday. But on Saturday and Sunday, there is nothing to occupy them or keep them busy, and they get very agitated.
Thank you so much for that comment. I would say you're the second person to provide me that feedback this week. We have seen a tremendous amount of activity, and we can thank our community engagement team, John. Molly in particular is probably who you have seen on the floor, and she has an awesome schedule and calendar of activities that are very engaging to all of our residents. She works Monday through Friday, and there are some activities that happen on the weekend, but far less than what you actually see during the week. It's jam-packed Monday through Friday. I see Tina's right here, so I believe she has something to add to that as well.
So over the next month, we're going to do some very intense education with the folks who work over in the healthcare center. And part of that education is really help staff focus on the importance of engagement. And for folks who are having trouble thinking, this is especially important to focus on the 5 senses, because what we know is that while thinking might be broken, doesn't work like it once did, our emotions are intact. And the way that we get into our emotions is through our 5 senses, in as much as we can. And so one of the things that we're going to be working with staff on, regardless of what their department is, Molly's an amazing practitioner. Rex is also over in the healthcare center. Cindy helps fill in. But what we're going to do is we're going to help all staff really understand the value of connecting with the person, using their emotions and using things that they know about this person to create moments of joy. And so while we have this gap right now, we're going to try and fill it with meaningful things that would be very individualized.
Thank you, Tina. That's exactly right.
It's approaching the witching hour here. So we've got time for a couple more questions, and then we're going to have to close it off.
Okay, this question's for Tina.
Okay. I should have known better. I should have just stayed standing.
You say you're working in 11 states. How do you get the word out? Do you write articles, or do you advertise, or what?
So for the most part, it has a lot to do with the research that we've done, and research does that for us. Right now, we're not actively trying to spread our influence. We're really focused on the campus and what we can do for the campus, but we do have partnerships that we need to continue to honor. And so we're not trying to increase it, but mainly the reason is because of our research, because of the evidence-based nature of the work that we've done.
This is
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. So, first, let me say thank you to all of you who hung with us for 6 weeks through our How It Works course. This was the first lifelong learning I've ever been invited to do, and I've had a ton of fun being with you, and also just getting to sit and listen to the amazing work that our team does across the campus. I mean, for us to have this beautiful resource of these ladies, they are beautiful inside and out, but they're also top of their field, and we are so very blessed to have them. So help me say thanks to my resident support team. And I'm going to see if I can, this is our, ta-da, okay. So this is our last week of the How It Works course. And so I don't know what, like if we did okay, we might get invited back or something, Cynthia. I don't know. But if not, thank you so much for taking time out of your week to come and spend it with us. And like I said, we've had a ton of fun telling you about the work that gets done around here. I'm not sure that we fully covered every aspect of how it works, but we did our very best to give you at least kind of a bird's eye view of the good work that happens across campus. So thanks so much, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. It's beautiful outside.
It was